maybe it's the... Maybe I should go for this. For this.
I hope my son's antics don't disturb you.
Madam, were it in my power to sentence him to 30 days hard labor, they would not disturb me in the slightest.
Smashing day for it. On holiday?
No.
Oh, Leslie. It isn't true. Oh, beg pardon, ma'am.
Miss.
Yes, of course, yes. Have to be, wouldn't it?
There. That looks much better. Get this over here. Damn, I thought it might run over.
Damn fool. I suppose I'll be expected to tend to his wounds after he piles up, and I don't feel that.
So I have actually played this game before.
No apparent damage to the cars. Young fool must lead a charmed life.
But it's been a couple of years. It's probably over 10 years ago.
That's a lot. My money's on the servants. The servant's usually always the guilty one in the end.
Welcome to Sticklehaven, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Davis, the harbour master.
Sorry. Waiting for me?
That's everyone then. The other bags are already on board the boat there.
Blimey. It must be him. In the flesh.
All set, Narracot?
Ready, sir.
Right. I'll leave it to you then. Sea's calm. Should be a pleasant crossing. If you leave now, there's a squall coming. I can smell it.
Yeah, that was a rough start to the stream, but now you're up and running, and
Why is it called Shipwreck
I
Island?
think it should
Well, the
be.
weather can turn nasty quickly. There are many submerged rocks, lots of wrecks hereabouts, and that big rock at the tip is said to resemble a beached schooner. The locals call it Ship Rock.
You're not from around these parts, then, Mr. Narracot?
No, sir, I'm not.
It'll never work.
There.
If you would be so good as to
Accidentally
follow
pulled
that
out.
path to the house, my wife will
That's
show
what's
you to
probably
your
happened
rooms.
before.
I expect you'd all like to
All right.
freshen up after your journey. Where's Fred?
Under the weather. I took his place.
You'd be the brother then. I see the resemblance. Will you help me with the bags?
Yes. I've been hoping to get a look at the house.
So, yeah.
To what? 10 little sailor boys went out to die. One choked his little self, and then there were 9.
Now we're finally starting the game. It's been a...
Thank you for your assistance, Mr. Narracot. Everything and everyone nicely in place.
Wait a bit.
I
Rough
must
start.
say, I don't much like these clouds.
Microphone
I
not
expect you
working,
should be
picture
heading
not
back
working,
without
but
delay.
nah, everything is up. I had to change from my Wii to my Wii U.
Now it begins. Don't worry, Fred. I won't let you down.
But it is
No,
a Wii
it's
game,
drizzling.
so...
It's going to get much worse.
Alright. What did he say? This thing was blah 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 blah, okay. But yeah, I have played this game before,
time for talk
a
has
long time
passed.
ago.
I have more important things to do than chat.
He said I should do
I should
something.
return to my boat to retrieve some supplies before I begin any real investigating.
Okay. So, double click arounds.
Scuttled. I wonder who would have done such a thing. Damn thing's wrecked. No chance of returning to the mainland now. The sea looks daunting. Wouldn't want to be caught out there without a good motive. The sea looks daunting.
Okay. Was that all? Should let's go and see this. So this game was released on PC in 2005 and then 2008 it was released on Wii.
Mr. Narracott, why are you still on the island?
Someone scuttled my boat.
Scuttled? Wrecked, you mean? But who on earth would do such a thing?
I intend to find out.
But that means, who will come for us on Monday?
Unless this storm lets up, no one.
No one.
Dear me, dear me. Come in, come in. You'll catch your death out here.
Okay.
I must help my wife prepare dinner. I'll have her fix you up something in the kitchen.
Thank you.
Is that thing in the way for the text? Ah.
Where he's going to sleep, I'll never know. Ethel won't like this one bit.
You hear the voices, I guess. Förlåt, nej, jag skulle... Oh, okay.
Fresh flowers. Quite pretty.
Yeah, as you can see, I have taking donations for Angel San Eatery in Philippines, and that's my mother-in-law's small restaurant that she has to close now because of COVID-19.
It's an
So I'm trying to
albatross.
help her out a little bit,
can't say
and
I'm
if
particularly
anyone
fond
wants
of the
to
painting.
give a
The
small
subject matter
donation,
doesn't interest me.
we will be very glad to receive it.
It's an albatross.
Everything that
I
I
can't
will
say I'm
get there will
particularly
go
fond of
directly
the
to my
painting.
mother-in-law.
The subject matter doesn't interest me. No need to call unnecessary attention to my snooping.
Okay.
I don't need to lug this around with me. I shouldn't do that. I need to have my wits about me. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that.
Okay, so I have some stuff. Oversight cockpit. Okay.
I can't see anything of interest.
That's how you do it, okay.
I see nothing remarkable.
Just trying to remember how to do stuff here.
It's got power, but it still doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah, something is missing. Here is the tome.
I copied the contents into my notebook. I copied the contents into my notebook.
10 little sailor boys went out to dine. One choked his little self, but then he was 9. It's easier to learn. And the sailor boys that were okay, yeah. It's the famous little rhyme there. For you who don't know this is it's based on a quite famous book by Agatha Christie. It's gone. It's been many different names of that book, I guess. Go back there. There. Huh, okay, that's weird. Let's go in here.
Your shot, Judge.
Yes. You haven't left me much, I confess.
I knew judges listened to confessions. I never knew they made them as well.
Oh, some judges may have cause. Some doctors as well, I expect.
Yeah, let's go.
May I ask you a question? This is not a time for idle chatter.
Huh.
May I ask you a question? You'll spoil.
Okay.
A radiator. You can't have enough of them, really. A radiator.
It's weird, you can press both A and B here to...
Not that I'd want to play, even if there was time. I've no talent for the game whatsoever. Not that I'd want to play.
What happened here? Yeah, I don't know. My string disappeared on my screen. But it's fine. Does the judge want to talk?
May I interrupt for a moment?
Please, Mr. Narracott, this is a time for concentration, not conversation.
Okay. Yeah, you need to twist.
It's tightly locked.
It was locked. Okay. No, don't talk about him. Go here. Can I open this?
It's locked fast.
And that also locked. All right. Then we go here. Don't go up the stairs yet. Was there someone? Looked like someone was walking there. That was open.
A place for everything and everything in its place.
Oh yeah. Every time, little bit of spoiler, every time someone dies in the game, one of these disappears.
10 little sailor boys. Charming.
Wow. Okay. Well, I got to run around, I guess. Is there a door here?
It'll never work, I tell you. We should never have agreed. A house party only a week after we arrive? And no other help?
Ethel, calm yourself.
You promised me. Never again, you said.
How was I to
But yeah,
know?
I have played this, but I do not remember who's the killer.
Mr. Narracott. Ethel will be preparing you a meal in here once the guests are served.
And I read the book, but I think it's different. And I've seen some movies.
It's a sturdy cast iron stove. I'm afraid it's stuck that way.
There's something I should do with that, but that's later on in the game, I guess. Let's talk with it.
Mr. Rogers, I was wondering if I might have a word.
Perhaps you'd find one of the guests with more free time to chat. None of them are doing any work.
The refrigerator hardly seems large enough for a house of this size.
Okay.
I don't need to lug this around. No need to call. I don't need to lug. The larder is very well stocked.
Gotta get some sugar.
The larder is very well
Okay.
stocked.
What the hell did I get on? Okay, I get that. Metal scoop. Cheese wheel. And a turkey baster, okay.
It's a full sack of flour.
Should I use this? There's some... Should do something there. There.
There are some batteries buried under here. I can't take that apart.
Et voilà.
Okay, now we're done with batteries. Once I did not remember that. I just took a chance.
It's a press. Looks like it can hold quite a large amount of fruit.
Fruit. Don't have any fruit. Can I press the cheese?
This is neither the time nor the place.
No.
I won't do that.
I need to do that every time. I look at the door. I will shake this door first.
I'll need to wait until the weather lets up a bit.
Of course you do.
It's a painting of a flower. Looks like a water lily.
It doesn't say what it is. Sewing needles, okay. That was a letter.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Rogers, Miss Owen and I will be detaining London this evening. Please do the best you can in our absence. My good lady tells me she wanted rolls for dinner with potatoes and vegetables and treacle tart for dessert. You'll find everything you need in the pantry and serve drinks afterwards in the front parlor. You already have the gramophone record. Please play the side labeled hello, as everyone is comfortable in the parlor. We'll be along as soon as possible. Ulrich Norman Owen. There was something as well. What was that?
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Produce Mizu and I will be giving a little house party this weekend. Only 8 guests. I'm sure you'll manage. 8? I'm sure you'll manage. The larder is well stocked and this crowd should give too much trouble. We arrive early Friday so that Miss Owen can go up. Simple menu. Hang on to the... Okay. Yeah. Plus and minus do that. Okay. Good to know. Toilet. The bathroom. Really? There's nothing here? Maybe later in the game. Yeah, doesn't seem to be anything.
Interesting painting. Birds don't appeal to me, but someone here certainly fancies them.
Go that way, so I can go this way. Then we come there. Okay, let's go up the stairs then. Hey, sis! Hur är läget? Toilet, okay. Okay.
It's locked fast.
Jo då, det är bra. Kul du kunde komma förbi och titta.
I don't think going through that would help. Either he's innocent, in which case I'd be grossly invading his privacy, or he's guilty, and surely wouldn't be daft enough to leave any evidence in his luggage.
Whose room is this?
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Of course you did. The Armstrongs. Okay, dear Dr. Armstrong, you come highly recommended to me by your esteemed colleague Dr. William Weathersby of Harley Street. Great favor to ask. My wife's health appears to be deteriorating. She had so many. Okay. Oh, I just remembered. I forgot. Det är inte samma som i boken eller filmen. Just so you know. Jag har spelat detta förr. Men jag kommer inte ihåg vem mördaren är. Okej.
Nothing out of order in here. I'd best not take anything, though. I'm sure he would notice. I'd best not take that.
Yeah.
He might need it and would certainly notice its absence. I'd best not take that.
Close it. There. Let's go out here.
I can't open it.
Oh, that's
It's
not.
locked.
Is there? Okay. I'm just checking the buttons. So that means, okay, there's the stairs. I went in there. Yeah, let's just check here.
It's tightly
It's
locked.
tightly locked. That was open. Oh.
Would you just look at all these silk sheets? All embroidered GS. I'll bet that was that actress who used to live here. I've dropped them on this filthy floor.
Can I give you a hand, Mrs. Rogers?
Let's do that.
Thank you, Mr. Narracott. You seem like a good sort. I'm sorry for your boat.
Yeah, it's fine. Is that all?
I can't think what Mr. Rogers would say if dinner was late.
Okay. Is that just... Okay. Then I'll know that way. Oh. Now that's the door. That's the door. Let's go here.
This clock is stopped.
Okay. There's another ladder.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Yeah, speaking of the different, I don't think this Narracott is in the book. I think he's just an extra they added for this game, if I'm not mistaken. Blore. Mr. Henry Blore, as an ex-CID man and now private detective, you come highly recommended to me. It's my wife's jewels, you see. She simply won't keep them locked in the safe. This house party we have coming up has got me worried. I can tell you, your instructions are to follow. During the house party, my wife and I are giving it a weekend of August 8th on the shipwreck island of Sticklehaven. Pose as a guest and keep your eyes on the other guests. Dr. Armstrong, older strict man, quite well thought, I believe. Emily Brent, a spinster lady of strong moral beliefs. Claythorne, my wife's new secretary. Lombard, something of an adventurer, I believe. General Mackenzie, a retired military man. Anthony Marston's the sportsman. Young son of minor dukedom, a long way from any worthwhile title or any worthwhile occupation from the sound of him. Judge Wargrave recently retired, supposed to be an absolute tyrant in the courtroom. A rum lot if you ask me, but there are my wife's guests, so I am stuck with them. There is also a butler and a housekeeper by the name of Thomas and Ethel Rogers. We hired them through the Regina agency in Plymouth. They seem trustworthy enough, but who knows? Keep an eye on them all, and the jewels I'm sure my wife will have on display at every possible opportunity. Our clothes, what I understand, is your standard retainer. If the weekend goes without incident, there will be a sizable bonus as well. Okay.
Polished marble spheres and some books. Nothing worth investigating further. A radiator.
Once a bent copper, always a bent copper. Right, Fred?
You're talking through your hat. You were the Purcell gang's inside man on the force, not my brother.
Your brother? Don't try to kid me, Fred. There's still a handsome reward out for you.
Fred is my brother. I'm Patrick Fane.
No reason for me to believe you that I can see. There's still a big reward out for Fred Fane.
You scuttled my boat to trap me here.
You recognized me, too. I saw it in your eyes.
Only because Davis showed Fred the passenger list yesterday. I came in my brother's place. We didn't think you might mistake me for him. Fred is 8 years older than me. Look closely, Blore.
You do look young. I noticed that. Thought it must be the sea air.
You were taking the Purcells' bribes for years. After the Landor case, people began to ask questions. The Purcells needed what the Yank detective novels call a fall guy. My brother was framed. You were in the clear.
Your whole story sounds like a detective novel.
I've never stopped trying to clear Fred's name and put you in Dartmoor prison where you belong. Thanks to your greed, I may now have that chance.
Maybe you're Patrick, maybe you're Fred. I don't know, and I don't much care. You're either a criminal, or you've been harboring one all these years. I wonder what my fellow guests will think of that. Go on, Mr. Narracott. Hop it. I need to prepare for dinner. Go on. I have business in this room. You don't.
Okay, let's go out then. Oh, he knocks.
Narracott? I thought you'd be long gone by now. That storm's getting pretty fierce. Somebody scuttled my boat. I saw Blore watching you like a hawk eyes its dinner. Could it have been him? Possibly. Any idea why? I'd rather not say. Suit yourself. I'd better get ready for dinner.
Oh, Mr. Narracott, I thought that you'd left us.
Yeah.
Someone scuttled my boat.
Oh, but that's dreadful. Surely the harbour master will send another boat when you're missed.
Not in this storm, I'm afraid. And even then, it won't be reported.
Why ever not?
My brother. He knew I might not be immediately back.
I'm terribly sorry for your trouble. The Owens should be arriving shortly. I'm sure you can get a ride back in that boat. If you'll excuse me, I must get ready for dinner.
Yeah. Let's get ready for dinner.
Yes? Oh, Mr. Narracott, I had a question for you. Have you heard anything in Sticklehaven about this house being set up as a guest house?
No, Miss Brent.
No. Mrs. Rogers hasn't either. And who are the Owens?
I haven't met them yet.
Would it surprise you to learn neither have Mr. and Mrs. Rogers? It's odd. Very odd.
It's
If you
very
excuse
odd.
me, Mr. Narracott, I must make dinner preparations.
Oh, I can peek. He's sad. Peeking. Was he just there?
My wife is indisposed, not receiving visitors today.
Your wife, sir?
What?
Your wife?
My wife? Yes. Leslie. I'm sorry, my boy. I was wool gathering, miles away. My apologies. Must dress for dinner now. Send my orderly to me if you will. No, that's not right. What was I thinking?
He's not fully there, I guess.
I must get ready for dinner now.
That sounds like the dinner bell.
Mr. Narracott, unfortunately, we are not prepared for your presence at dinner. I would be most happy to deliver you a sandwich later this evening, if that will do.
That will be fine, Rogers. Thank you.
Excellent.
Oh.
Now, if you will excuse me, I must get to serving.
By all means.
No food for me.
I can hear them all in the dining room chattering. I can't quite make out what they're saying. This might be a good time to explore the house more thoroughly. Aha! With my ear against the door, the conversation becomes quite clear.
Wine, Doctor?
No, thank you, Rogers. I never touch alcohol. Except for sterilizing wounds or instruments, of course.
I tried to collect some apples from an orchard on the island, but a bee stung me. I'm afraid I dropped the basket and ran. No need to apologize. I myself am dreadfully allergic to bees, wasps, hornets. I'm sorry to hear there are bees here. Oh, you must take care. There's all sorts of those bee house things. What do you call it?
An apiary.
Oh, I thought that was for monkeys.
Ethel!
Miss Claythorne, we've never met, but I do seem to recall your name.
Oh?
Yes, from when I stayed at that stuffy old hotel near St. Trednick. Do you know it?
No. No, I don't think so.
Really? How extraordinary. I was so shocked.
Narracott says he's not Fred Fane, but his brother. It may well be, but he bears watching.
Seems like such a nice man.
They said the same thing about Stevenson, the child murderer. I confess I've never met our host, Mr. Owen. What kind of a man is he? Rogers?
We haven't seen the Owens either, sir. We were only engaged a week ago by letter, and asked to make the house ready.
So no one has actually met the Owens.
How extraordinary.
I,
Extraordinary
for one, will have
indeed.
some sharp questions for the Owens when they do arrive.
Who are these Owens?
It's a sturdy cast iron stove.
Can I check all the... Can probably not go out yet.
The refrigerator hardly seems like...
See if I can check the rooms that I wasn't able to check.
These are very expensive linens. I bet they're very strong.
Don't know why I need that, but okay. Let's see. He had to go there. Whose room is this? We'll see here.
This bears a closer look.
Oh. Telegram. It is coded.
I can't take that apart. Those don't work together.
I don't know why they should, but okay, there must be something. Weird.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Tony, get out your dinner jacket, polish your shoes. I've noticed out an invitation for us at the August State weekend Stones. You don't know them, but the new money, I'm afraid. But they do well in rigs and dinner, and there are usually a few sweet young things about to spice up the scenery. You can try out a new motor of yours on the winding lanes of Devon. I'll be along later if you don't pile it up again. Get D to Sticklehaven and yesterday. Okay. Badger Barkley. I guess that's fake. Pretty sure that's fake.
Nothing else to see about that.
What is this?
This could use a closer look.
Key James Song of Solomon 3.
I'm afraid it's stuck that way. I can't get them to fit. Let me examine this further.
Nothing I can... No. Okay. Well then. There was nothing there. I don't know why I went back there. There we go. Oh. We've got the toilet door, the bathroom door.
I see nothing remarkable. I see nothing remarkable.
Okay then. Whose room is this? Ah, it's the old guy.
It appears to be a portrait of the general. Must be quite old. He's standing with a very young woman. It's signed, "To John, my husband, Leslie." It's a rather bland landscape. A radiator.
Okay, there. His ladder.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
No, that's wrong. General Mackenzie giving a little house party here on Shipwreck Island the 8th of August. A couple of your old crewmates are coming. They are buying Spoof Leggard and John Dyer. They suggest I invite you as well. They mentioned they would love to have a talk with you about your days together. Okay. Oh, great war. It's the First World War. If you heard the rumors, they are true. The island was used as an... okay. You unknown. You know. Unknown? Okay, can't go there. Let's go here. Go out.
It would be incredibly improper for me to go through a lady's luggage. I won't do it.
Yeah, and whose this room? Whose room is this?
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Brent? Yeah, Miss Brent. Do you remember me? Where to get a belly in a guest house? Starting a guest house on my own on the island of the coast of Devon. Okay. So this is the old lady's room. None of this nudity. What is that? King James Bible.
Nothing else to see about that. Some things once done cannot be undone. There is no cause for that. Those don't work together.
Really?
I can't see anything of interest.
Hey, Florian,
cool
how
of
are
some
you
sort.
doing? And thank you for the host. I am doing well. Oh, that was... did do something. I had some problems in the start of this stream, but now I'm back on track.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Good, good. Decoded messages. I decoded descriptive messages, but rather indicated message. Marston, submarine in place. Continue to objective. Secure beacon on buoy. West shore make. Certain homing engage. Red light must be blink. Additional search island for signs of Brit intel. Our agent reported safe in house with combination. Left 28, right 11, left 49. Reports test base for new. Sieg Heil. He's a German. Do not tell the Germans. Okay.
This is quite a makeup supply. Emily must be more concerned with aging than she lets on.
Sun is running upstairs. Not sure if you heard that though. I've added a new filter for my microphone. I hope it should take away all the other noise. Okay, I can't do anything. Alright. Let's go here. something.
A hawk with a fish in its talons. The bird theme is starting to get to me.
Well, yeah, I also added a new command that you can use, although it's not exactly correct because I was supposed to play this game on my Wii, but I had some issues with the picture.
That's an
I
interesting
got
clock.
a picture
Shame it
on
doesn't
the
seem to
stream,
work.
but not on my TV.
That's an interesting
Anyway,
clock. A shame
it's
it doesn't seem
you
to work.
can look up if you do the exclamation point specs, you can see what is my specs I'm using right now. If you're
It would
interested.
certainly be noticed if I rifled through her luggage. I'd better not. I copied the contents into my notebook.
But I added the specs for my Wii, not my Wii U, so yeah. From newspaper clip of Vera's room, dreadful, okay. At age 8 was drowned in a swimming accident. Must be much protocol. Atmosphere, okay.
This is a fairly sparse makeup case. Vera isn't the type to use much makeup, though.
Nothing there. There's the ladder.
I'd almost swear I recognize that chap. Does he have the eyes of a killer?
Is he a killer? Huh?
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Thorn. You know Nancy Owen. Do you even know what that was? Medical alert card.
This could use a closer look.
So please be advised that my patient, Miss Emily Brandt, is still allergic to insect stings. Bees and wasps. She carries with her a supply of the dosage on the label must be injected immediately. I think that will make sense later on in the game.
I'm guessing Ethel went through the trouble of supplying most of the rooms with fresh flowers.
Oh. Back up there again. Should I take Let's go this way. Yeah, exactly. Ah, he's very slow in telling you what I have. I've been thinking of adding the information just below, but it's so much information for every system, so I thought I'd maybe do this way. Maybe that's yeah, that's my specs. Except, as I said, I'm playing this on my Wii U instead of the Wii.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
What's that? Right. Control Wars. Radiators.
A radiator. It would certainly be noticed if I rifled through his luggage. I'd better not.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, I need to change that. I will change that for next time. That's why I told this, and I hope someone tests it, because I haven't tested it myself. So I didn't know
chair.
that he would
It
do
doesn't look
that.
very comfortable.
Or he. Is there a bot, a he or a she? I don't know. It. How is the...
Tile and marble. Quite expensive from the look of it. Towel racks. Brass. Towel racks.
Was there something there?
This window leads out. This window leads out to the balcony. A radiator.
Radiator. Stop clicking on the radiators. This room I've been in. But I did not check this.
I transcribed the pertinent passages in my notebook.
Castle and the rent for the bar. That's the one. Teachings. Okay. I'm just skimming through this. It's too much to read out loud. Sorry. Uh, yeah, it was him who put the boat there. $15. What do you mean? 15 versus 16. 15, 16. Was it something?
Polished marbles.
Why did I go there? I want this way. So I want to check outside, because I already checked there. Nothing here.
Another seabird. This one looks like an albatross. Shocking.
It's just the Atlantis. Oh, there was nothing left. Okay. And this room I've been in. See if there's something else.
Nothing out of order in here. I'd best not take anything, though. I'm sure...
Can we go in here? Not a bird. Bird, bird, bird. Is that something new?
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Did I miss it before? There's Lawrence. It's been 6 years since I heard anything from you. I'm back in England and I have just purchased a marvelous, odd, thoroughly modern home on Shipwreck Island of South Devon. You must come for the weekend. It's an enchanting place and we have so much to catch up on. The old days communing with nature, although of course it has always been more in my line. Get out of that stuff flat and come bask in the sunshine with me and a few other amusing guests this weekend of August 8th. You take the 1240 from Paddington, change to Plymouth, the Road Bridge, a car will meet you there. I won't take no for an answer. It's your favorite Constance Colmington. Okay.
It's a marble sculpture of an elephant. I don't think going through that...
Well, I have not been in this room. Is that a pipe?
I see nothing remarkable. I don't need it. And I'm no pack rat.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay. Have I been to all the rooms now? That's there. Yeah. We'll go around. And let's check out here.
Locked.
It's locked.
Interesting ashtray. Birds everywhere.
Haven't you heard? The bird is the word. Things here is fine. Oh, it's open. There is actually no... Oh, you have to walk with a mask. No, here it's... But we have no... how do you say no? No reported cases here in this... Well, it's not a city, it's a small town. There are, of course, restrictions, but we don't need to wear masks. We're... cannot gather too many people at once, just 5 people maximum. You have to keep... Well, now it's 1 meter distance. Before it was actually 2 meter difference. And birds. Okay.
Property of Teresa Robson. I transcribed the interesting passages into my notebook.
Yeah, what else? Nothing so much. Nothing so much changing. There's so little people here, so it's almost like normal when you look outside. But of course, here in the stores they have put up like lines on the floor, keep your distance, and you have to wash your hands every time you go to store. Stuff like that. Food. There's is this even page 15? Maybe this will be important later on. I don't know. Yeah, but there are from this week. Some of the restrictions that have easing up on. How do you say it?
Sticklehaven. Hopefully I'll live to see the place again. That's Shipwreck Island. That's Shipwreck Island. That's Shipwreck Island.
Yeah, that's Shipwreck Island. So that's all. No, not finished. There is some stuff there. There's not been so many cases in Or so many deaths, I should say, in Norway. It's going down every day. Now I think that they will ease on some restrictions every 14 days, if I understood correctly. But they still will have restrictions all on till September 1st, I think. For now, that's what I say. We are not allowed to leave the country. So I can't go to Sweden this summer. That's where my family from Sweden was supposed to come here. They are not allowed.
A rather beautifully made globe of the world.
But yeah. But I think also from today you can have events for at least 50 people as long as they can keep a distance of 1 meter. But yeah, the deaths in Norway is like 200, something over 200, I think 205, something like that last time I checked. Okay, just take a whole lamp.
Nothing a little elbow grease can't undo.
Do I need that lamp for this?
Those don't work together.
Might know where that is supposed to go though.
Nothing else to see about that. I can't see anything of interest.
Okay. Raw sellotape. Okay.
The drawer is locked. Some things once done cannot be undone.
That's a book or something.
That looks like the jetty here on the island. He looks quite happy. She a little less so.
Yeah, I really hope this will pass soon. I'm so sick of it. It's worse for my wife, because she's not working at the moment. She had to... she's not let go, but they don't need her right now.
I transcribed the pertinent passages in my notebook.
So it's... and she has to be home with our son. He can't go back to kindergarten though, but since my wife is home, we just keep him at home. Okay. Fishing villages dot the south coast of Devon, tucked into bays and protected mouth of rivers. Okay. Interesting. Page 94 of the 1815 soldiers returning from Napoleonic Wars took up smuggling in the area. Shipwreck Island, due to its isolated nature, became a base for smuggling. Okay. Wreck. Could leave the stone. Okay, but okay. Yada yada. I get to check here. That is a diary.
Normally, I would never violate someone's privacy this way. However, given the circumstances, I will examine the entries for clues and transcribe any passages I find pertinent.
Little sections of the house isn't really important to me anymore. I rarely venture past the game room, despite his feeble protest. I know he wouldn't really want me invading his private sanctum, but really, you could not find a more cliched way to conceal a secret passageway. There's a secret passageway. I often wonder if Elmer has any sense at all. He might as well live in the sea. It's the only place where he seems to... Truly, the albatross is the most graceful bird in motion. A photograph does it absolutely no justice. Most other birds to tuck up in the... Okay. If Elmer doesn't chase his ways... This afternoon, bear detected. Okay. So much text. So in the house of Gabrielle Steele, the actress, just yes. Although I dreaded to trip across the channel, I told him I can certainly bear knowing I never had to go near another island. Of course, it was just like Elmer to point out that England is an island. Very fun. I cannot say I'm much taken from Miss Steele. She sauntered through the house today as if she already owned it, practically ignoring us. She came with two small bookish men, followed her around like lapdogs. One of them was furiously taking notes as the diva dictated her grandiose plans for part of the house, making no secrets of her dislike. Yeah, interesting. Not. It has a secret passageway somewhere.
A rather beautifully made globe of the world.
That was nothing. Yeah, or something.
Wargrave on justice. I can only imagine the egotism that lurks within those pages.
Yes, was there something on this? Let's see if he wants to go out.
It won't help my brother if I'm drowned in the storm.
Okay.
Not that I'd want to play. That doesn't make sense. I don't think that's appropriate.
Okay.
Those don't work together.
I just had a small idea. So. Okay. Now what? She doesn't want to go out.
Aha! With my ear against the door, the conversation becomes quite clear.
Did anyone else see the poem over the fireplace?
10 Little Sailor Boys. Yes, I saw it.
And here before us as the centerpiece of our table are the 10 little sailor boys themselves, all looking correct and polished.
I like a neat and tidy house, Your Honor.
Robson, the man who built this house, was a sailor. Perhaps Mr. Owen inherited them from him.
Another question for Mr. Owen.
As I remember, the rhyme was about soldier boys. Highly inappropriate, as I recall.
There are many variations.
You seem to know quite a bit about it, Miss Claythorne.
I was a governess before seeking secretarial work. Governesses spend a lot of time with nursery rhymes.
All gratuitously gruesome, if you ask me. So much violence in the world today.
Sometimes violence is necessary, Miss Brent.
There speaks a soldier for you.
A realist, Miss Brent, not a dreamer. If action needs to be taken, I, for one, am fully prepared to take it.
How does the famous rhyme go, Miss Claythorne?
Must we harp on this topic at dinner?
Miss Brent may be right, Mr. Marston. The rhyme is a bit gruesome. It's there over the fireplace in the parlor if you care to have a look later.
If you think so. Excellent meal, Rogers. My compliments to both you and your good woman. You've done your employers proud.
Thank you, sir, ladies and gentlemen. Most gratifying, I'm sure. After dinner, drinks will be served in the front parlor.
Next part, or not?
Ladies and gentlemen, silence please. This is your host, UN Owen. You are charged with the following indictments. Edward George Armstrong, that you did upon the 14th day of March 1925 cause the death of Louisa Mary Cleese. Emily Caroline Brent, that upon the 5th of November 1931 you were responsible for the death of Beatrice Taylor. William Henry Blore, that you brought about the death of James Stephen Landor on October 10th, 1928. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, that on the 11th day of August 1935 you killed Cyril Ogilvy Hamilton. Philip Lombard, that upon a date in February 1932 you were guilty of the death of 21 men. members of an East African tribe, John Gordon Mackenzie, that on the 4th of January 1917 you deliberately sent your wife's lover, Arthur Richmond, to his death. Anthony James Marston, that upon the 14th day of November last you were guilty of the murder of John and Lucy Combs. Thomas Rogers and Ethel Rogers, that on the 6th of May 1929 you brought about the death of Jennifer Brady. Lawrence John Wargrave, that upon the 10th day of June 1934 you were guilty of the murder of Edward Seaton. Prisoners at the bar, have you anything to say in your defense?
Oh.
Doctor! I only fainted, Rogers. I'm sure she'll be fine. Narracott, you get my bag from my room? Yes, of course. Stoutfellow, Marston, in a moment I'll want help to get her to her room. Of course. Behind the kitchen, is it, Rogers?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. You can use that door.
See, which was his room now? I believe it was this one. Yeah, right. It was. Ah. Take this shortcut.
Perhaps we can talk later. For now, I must see to my patient.
How would I handle this?
Thank you, Mr. Narracott. I am in your debt. Perhaps we can talk later.
Yes, so...
Little
They are
sailboats.
still 10. So I guess that's that. Forgot. Oh yeah. Now I remember. You will see.
Now, Rogers, tell us about that extraordinary voice.
It was Mr. Owen, sir. In his letter, he wrote to me to put it on the gramophone once you were all settled in here after dinner.
That was Mr. Owen's voice?
You doubt that it was?
No. I thought I recognized it. I'm sure I'm mistaken.
A disgraceful practical joke.
You think it was a joke?
What else could it be?
I will need to hear more evidence before offering an opinion.
Mr. Marston and I carried Mrs. Rogers to her room. I gave her a mild sedative. She's resting comfortably.
Whoever it was on that recording, that person knows or has taken the trouble to find out a good deal about us all. He was correct about Seton. I presided at the trial, but all I did was execute a guilty man.
I remember the case. As I recall, there was some talk.
Happily, guilt and innocence are decided by those of us qualified to make a judgment, not by gossip. Of course, there is one omission in that recording. Mr. Narracott, of course. Although to hear Mr. Blore tell it, he might have earned a place on that list, had Mr. Owen been so inclined.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
It's a matter of interpretation, you understand. But I'd have to say, yes.
Will you tell me how it happened?
Elderly woman. Poor devil. I'd been up all night with an emergency case. My nerves were shot, hands shaking. But I had to operate. I had to try and save her. I had a pick-me-up or two to steady myself, but I bungled it. It wasn't the drink, I swear. It was an accident. Could have happened to anyone in my profession.
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
Owen sent me a note, asking me to have a look at his wife, who's been suffering from arthritis and muscle spasms.
What was the gossip concerning the Seton case?
I'm not one to spread gossip to just anyone about a man as distinguished as Justice Wargrave. If I was certain about it, perhaps. But I'm not.
If you'll excuse me, Doctor.
Let's talk to him.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
The name sounded vaguely familiar. I expect it will come to me.
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
Got a wire from a pal of mine, Badger Barkley. Surprised me at the time because I had an idea the old horse had gone to Norway. Told me to roll up
It's not here,
Thanks,
I
Master.
promise.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
It's true we were the only ones there the night Miss Brady died. But she was always in poor health. Always. From the time we came to her.
Will you tell me how it happened?
There was a storm, as fierce as the one brewing outside right now when she was taken bad. The telephone was out of order. I went for the doctor on foot, but he got there too late.
Were you mentioned in the will?
Barely. Certainly not what we were led to believe. She was just saying it, you see, to ensure our devotion to her. Beg pardon. I'm not sure what came over me just then. The strain of tonight, I expect, and worry over Mrs. Rogers, of course.
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
We expected to finally meet Mr. and Mrs. Owen today. Ethel didn't want to take the job, but I insisted. I'm beginning to wish I'd listened to her.
Good evening, Mr. Rogers.
You should always listen to your wife. I need to go around to get to them. Oh wait. Yeah, I need to take. Just try something, yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Really?
That isn't going to help. That isn't such a good idea.
Okay.
Perhaps that doesn't make sense.
Can't I somehow just remove that thing from my... Oh, put it back. That was stupid.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
I remember Seton perfectly well. Playwright, charged with the murder of a chorus girl. He was found guilty, hung himself in his cell 3 days later, saved the Crown the expense of doing it for him.
Will you tell me how it happened?
Nothing remarkable about it at all. I summed up accordingly, and the jury brought in a verdict of guilty. Hung himself in his cell 3 days later, saved the Crown the expense of doing it for him.
The law can be wrong sometimes.
Perhaps. But I never am.
Okay.
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
I received a letter from an old friend, Lady Constance Culmington, inviting me for the weekend. It's exactly the kind of vague, incoherent letter she would write. It's as simple as that.
Good evening, Judge. Any truth to the accusation against you?
About that child, Cyril Hamilton. I was nursery governess to him.
Will you tell me how it happened?
I'd like to tell you. Cyril was forbidden to swim out far. One day, my attention was distracted. I couldn't get there in time. It was awful. But it wasn't my fault. At the inquest, the coroner exonerated me. Oh, and his mother. She was so kind. If she didn't blame me, why should this awful thing be said?
Are you sure you're telling me everything?
I'm telling you all I'm going to, Mr. Narracott.
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
I was engaged through the Skilled Women's Agency to be Mrs. Owen's personal secretary for the remainder of the summer. Then I hope to return to teaching.
A pleasure as always, Miss Claythorne. Any truth to the accusation against you?
Fellow got hold of a detestable rumor, nothing more. Arthur Richmond was one of my officers. I sent him on a reconnaissance, he was killed. Natural course of events in wartime.
I am indebted to you for your help, General Mackenzie. Any truth to the accusation against you?
I admit it's a ghastly story, but I can't say it's wrong. Owen did his research well. The accusation is absolutely true.
Will you tell me how it happened?
Oh, it was written up in the papers at the time. A story of self-preservation, pure and simple. A hunting party lost in the bush. The great white hunter checks the food supplies, assesses his chances, and clears out on his own.
Leaving 21 men to die.
Not very Puka Sahib, I'm afraid.
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
Owen's attorney, a man named Archibald Morris, rang up one day. Wanted to give me 100 guineas to join this house party. I was to put myself at Owen's disposal in case my rather specialized talents were required.
What specialized talents would those be?
You might say I'm a good man in a scrap.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Lombard. Any truth to the accusation against you?
Look, Narracott, if that's what you want to call yourself. The rules have changed. Can't you see that? The past is past. It's the present we should be worrying about. Something is not right here.
Will you tell me how it happened?
All right. Perhaps I was doing the odd favor for the Purcells. But if your brother was framed, I had nothing to do with it. Yes, they paid me to perjure myself about Landor. Thanks to them, I was able to put enough away to set up my own detective agency. Nothing fancy, but I've been straight ever since, I swear.
Landor died.
He got penal servitude for life and died in Dartmoor a year later. Not my fault he was such a delicate man.
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
I run a little detective agency in Plymouth these days. I'm on a job. Protect Mrs. Owen's jewels, the letter said. Mrs. Owen, my foot. I don't believe there's any such person.
That is all for now, Mr. Blore.
I think you're correct, sir.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
Beatrice Taylor was in service with me. Not a nice girl, as I found out too late. Loose. No morals whatsoever.
Will you tell me how it happened?
It was some time before I found out she was what they call in trouble. Her parents were decent folk, too. I'm glad to say they did not condone her behavior when I told them of it.
What happened to Beatrice?
Naturally, I did not keep her an hour under my roof. No one shall ever say that Emily Brent condoned immorality.
How did she die?
Not content with having one sin on her conscience, she committed a still graver sin. She took her own life, threw herself in the river. If she had behaved like a decent young woman, she'd be alive today.
You have no regrets?
She made an excellent breakfast. I miss that. Fresh juice every day.
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
I received a letter with a signature that was not very easy to read. It purported to be from a woman I'd met at a certain summer resort 2 or 3 years ago. I am quite certain I have never met or become friendly with anyone of the name of Earl.
I overheard you mention St. Trednick to Miss Claythorne.
I was staying at a seaside hotel near St. Trednick this same week of August 4 years ago. That boy Cyril Hamilton drowned near there. It was the talk of the town. His half-brother was much older. Hugo, I think his name was. Cyril was a vile child, by all accounts, but first in line for the family title and estates. When he died, it all went to Hugo. He was just about Miss Claythorne's age. There was talk of something between them.
You're suggesting Vera let the boy drown so the man she loved could inherit?
That would be idle gossip. I don't indulge in idle gossip. I've only told you the facts of the case as I remember them.
Good evening to you, Miss Brent. Now is not the time for chatter.
Okay. So spoken with everyone. Did you go there? No. That doesn't work.
It's got power, but it still doesn't seem to be working.
Something should be there. Now what? That had something.
I can't see anything of interest. I'm afraid it's stuck that way.
Interesting history Shipwreck Island has. I studied up on it before I came down.
What are the names of those two people I'm accused of killing?
John and Lucy Combs. I made a note of it.
Must have been a couple of kids I ran over near Cambridge. Beastly bad luck.
For them or for you?
Well, I was thinking for me, but of course you're right, sir. It was damned bad luck on them. Of course it was a pure accident. They rushed out of some cottage or other. Beastly nuisance. English roads are hopeless, of course. Can't get up a decent pace on them. Well, anyway, it wasn't my fault.
Of course it wasn't. Uh-oh. Nice animation there.
This man is dead.
This man is dead.
Did Marston choke to death? You can call it choking if you like. He died of asphyxiation right enough. Was Marston poisoned? Can't say exactly. Everything points to one of the cyanides. No distinctive smell of prussic acid. Probably potassium cyanide. It acts pretty well instantaneously. Was there something in the whiskey? Yes, without a doubt. Do you think it was suicide? Seems like it. Could he have been murdered? Not my line of country. I'm a doctor, not a detective.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
Not I, personally or professionally.
What do you think that record means?
A disgraceful and heartless practical joke, I suppose.
That is all for now, Dr. Armstrong. Do you think it was suicide?
You conduct yourself well, Mr. Narracott, if you don't mind my saying so. Mr. Blore has told us that you are not what you appear, yet you told him you were not a detective.
No, sir. But I've read many detective novels. I even had one of those junior detective kits when I was a boy. Magnifying glass, fingerprint powder.
Junior detective kit. Wonderful.
Ah, an amateur sleuth then. You appear to have something of a gift for it.
About the suicide, Judge.
I'm not yet prepared to offer an opinion.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
I knew his father, the Duke, and his elder brother. Like so many younger sons of his class, Anthony Marsden was a bit of a wastrel, as you will have gathered. There were other rumors of late, of his dabbling in politics, but this is not the proper forum for that discussion.
What do you think that record means?
May I answer that in a moment after asking a question of my own?
Sure.
Of course.
Does anyone know Mr. Owen's full name?
My letter was signed only U.N. Owen.
Yes, U.N. Owen. Or, by a slight stretch of fancy, unknown. I'll now answer your question, Mr. Narracott. The name, the recording, the circumstances under which all but you were lured to this island. I have no doubt in my mind that we have been invited here by a madman, very possibly a dangerous, homicidal lunatic.
Why did you retire, Judge?
I know there was talk about my competence, even my ego running wild, but the truth of it is very simple. My health. A lifetime sentencing my fellow man, and now a higher power has passed judgment on me.
I appreciate your candor, Judge.
Can't look at the body. Ah. Oops.
Do you think Marston committed suicide?
Yes. In my experience, certain types of individuals, when faced with their sin, will then commit the greater one.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
No.
What do you think that record means?
There is something very peculiar about it.
That is all, Miss Brett. Do you think Marston committed suicide?
I shouldn't have said Mr. Marston was a suicidal type of gentleman at all.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
Never clapped eyes on him. And who gave you the authority to question us?
You're under no obligation to answer me. What do you think that record means?
I don't like it. Not one bit. Very queer, the whole situation.
That is all for now, Mr. Blore.
Over here.
Do you think Marston committed suicide?
You'd never think he would kill himself. He was so alive. When he came down that hill in his car, he looked... Oh, I can't explain.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
No, I'm sure I would have remembered.
Steady, Miss Claythorne. Lad had his faults, you know.
What do you think that record means?
It was unfair, what it said. Very unfair.
You seem to be a remarkably perceptive girl, Miss Claythorne.
Why, thank you, Mr. Narracott.
Is there anything you can tell me about our fellow castaways?
Castaways? You make it sound so...
Romantic?
I was going to say dramatic. Let me see. No one has confided any secrets to me, I'm afraid. Oh, except one.
That is...
I really don't know you well enough to answer you.
A good evening to you, Miss Claythorne. Stay safe. Do you think Marston committed suicide?
He didn't seem particularly remorseful. Of Of course, the record might have set him off somehow. A new incident long after the fact may create a strong feeling of guilt or fear. Wouldn't you say, Doctor?
Possible. Quite possible. Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
Heard of him, but we'd never crossed paths, or swords.
What do you think that record means?
There is something wrong with this entire weekend, and especially with our host, Mr. Owen.
I believe we're all coming around to that conclusion.
Yes.
Yes, but I know something you don't, Judge.
What is that?
I recognize the voice on that recording, and it was definitely not Mr. Owen.
Who was it?
Not so fast, Narracott. Not until I think things through a bit more.
Good evening, Mr. Lombard. Do you think it was suicide?
How dare you? My wife died of natural causes, sir. A long illness, nothing more.
I meant Marston.
Marston? No honor in him that I could see.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
No, I don't think so. Not a military man, I'd wager. Lombard now. He reminds me of someone from my command. But the name wasn't Lombard.
What do you think that record means?
Ugly. After 30 years. Ugly thing to say.
Thank you, General. Stay well.
There is him.
Where have you been, Rogers?
I went to check on my wife, sir. She is resting comfortably. But I'm afraid I have some distressing news.
Oh?
One of the china figures of the sailor boy has been broken off.
Chapter 2. 9 little sailor boys sat up very late. One overslept himself, and then there were 8.
One overslept.
Filthy night. I tried to go out to get some more wood for the fire, but the wind drove me back.
A storm like that will keep us all indoors.
My apologies for the accommodations, Mr. Narracott, but all the beds are taken.
Makes one wonder where the Owens were planning to sleep, doesn't it?
A good servant follows instructions, sir. He does not question his employer, unless you'd like to share the deceased's room with the corpse.
This will do fine. Thank you, Rogers.
I'll wish you a good night then, sir.
Okay.
Everyone should be sound asleep by now. Good time for a little stealth work.
Should you sleep then?
I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that.
I don't need...
Nothing else to see about that.
There is no cause for that. They don't get along. Those don't work together. I can't get them to fit. There is no cause for that.
I think it's taking fingerprints. That's what I'm trying to do. Let's put them.
I can't get them to fit.
Okay. is not open. Maybe that simple.
Some things once done
No.
cannot be undone. I can't get them to fit.
Really?
Some things once done cannot be undone. Let me examine this further. I wonder what's recorded on this side. I don't think that's appropriate.
What?
I won't do that. This is neither the time nor the place. That isn't such a good idea.
Why?
I'm pleased to see at least one of you has thought to turn the record over. Any good house party should include party games. This weekend is no exception. I have devised several little games of the mind to challenge your wits, and I hope you find the rewards for each to be worth the effort. You'll have to discover my little amusements on your own, however. I've scattered them all over this delightful island retreat. I hope that you will find them suitably entertaining.
Perhaps another time. It's got power, but it still doesn't seem to be working. I won't do that. That isn't going to help. That isn't such a good idea.
Thinking making an antenna. So
It's got power, but it still doesn't seem to be working.
okay. So let's go to the dining room. Wait, I can't do it like this.
I'm afraid it's stuck that way. Those don't work together. little sailor boys.
That's just goes around.
It's a sturdy cast iron stove. Copper pots, just as I'd expect. Copper pots, just as I'd expect.
Yeah, now I have a flashlight.
Whoever it is, please leave us. My wife needs her rest.
Sorry about that, Rogers.
Not at all.
Oh no, that's... Oh no. That is upwards. Where did you go? Oh no, that's where... this room.
It's a book holder. Seems like a long time since it's been used.
This is for one of the books.
I won't do that. That doesn't make sense. I don't think that's appropriate. That isn't going to help.
Okay. I can't look at the map.
A rather beautifully made globe of the world. The drawer is locked.
Nothing else there. I think it says something there.
That doesn't make sense. I'm afraid it's stuck that way.
Ah. missed that last time.
This bears a closer look.
House. Garden, grotto, village, orchard, apiary, shipwreck summit.
This could use a closer look.
Powerful friends want to shine some light on the matter. Flower speeches may win you a few friends. Okay. And what book was that?
I transcribed the pertinent passages in my notebook.
Florida Straits, which are around 90 miles wide near Key West to 45 miles south of Florida. The Keys are now lying protected by dangerous reef, but landmarks are clear and the chart are kept up to date. This is a necessity in waters where hurricanes can change the shape entirely. Okay, 70 miles west of Key West are the dry Tortugas, where Fort Jefferson, abandoned in 1874, can be found. The fort is now famous as the place 4 men convicted of complicity in the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln were incarcerated. One of these were Dr. Samuel A. Mudd, who treated John Wilkes Booth's legs when prevailing winds in the straits are from the southeast. They can be lengthy periods calm to the hurricane season, which alright. Gulf of Mexico, page 210. Gunpowder wreckers who pile the trade of the Keys, yet to spread hurricanes fire. Many historic buildings still remain in Key West, and unique for these two houses are the Columbus and Hardesty families that face each other across the streets of ancient trees. But the remarkable history of the Columbus and Hardesty families must wait until another time. Okay, so
That doesn't make sense. I don't think that's appropriate.
Makes sense for me.
The storm is kicking up something.
That on the book holder. Oops.
That isn't such a good idea.
Why do it? I don't need to do that. I just want to go there, for instance.
Wargrave on... That doesn't make sense. I don't... Perhaps another time.
Should have been the bottom where you can just... leave that. Oh. Yeah, it's I will oops I guess I will save there. I guess. Yeah. And yeah, I stopped there for today. get this off my arm. There we go. That's how we do it. Yeah, so that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. Today, what's that? Oh. Yeah, I had a message. Anyway, thank you all for watching today. It was a little bit rough start there, but eventually got it up and running. I will continue this next Monday around the same time. And if you're not already follow me, please give me a follow. You can also follow me on Instagram, the same name, NK Gaming, and the same for Twitter. And I also have a YouTube channel. It's called NK Gaming as well. I think you can find a link down in the description there somewhere. I don't have that much. I will try to add stuff there. I say that every time, but yeah, that's my plan. But for now, I need to go. It's been a pleasure, and hope to see you again next time. For now, goodbye.